Hey guys, what's going on? Durangus here, and today I'm a little bit under the weather, so I thought I'd come out here and check on the bike. It turns out the chain is loose. Oh my goodness. So we're gonna show you the differences between this and the ZX14 that I've done before. But alright, well, stick around, let's get it done. We only want about an inch of sag, and so we're actually going to clean, lubricate, and adjust this. There is some differences on this bike as compared to my previous bike, the ZX14. Number one being that the primary nut, the rear wheel nut, is on the other side, so that's kind of interesting. It's also a smaller bolt. I think it was a 28 millimeter as opposed to a 32, so a little bit smaller. First things first, we're going to go ahead and get rid of our chain guard. So a handy tool for any of this motorcycle stuff is actually a bicycle kit Allen key, tri-key. For whatever reason, this has fit every single motorcycle that I've ever owned. You just want to make sure your chain rail lines up with that piece of rubber. It's actually a piece of rubber. I've never seen one quite like that before. This bike recommends an inch. Well, that's more than an inch. A lot of talk about chain cleaning. I've talked to a lot of guys that are techs, and they recommend that first of all you don't use lithium grease, which they have put on here for me, because it picks up a lot of dirt and really just simply gunks up your chain. So we're going to clean it, just a basic chain cleaner. And then I like this stuff here, and I use this on sport bikes, but this bike mostly sees road time, so this will be just fine. This stuff is a really good penetrating oil, Dumond Tech. Anyways, when you pour this over your sealed portions of the chain, it just sucks right in. It's really nice. So with that, let's get to cleaning. I'm not really worried about making a mess right here, so I'm just gonna spray this degreaser on the chain. Let it soak in. This stuff's real basic solvent, so it's nothing really fancy, you know. Next, get yourself a chain cleaning tool. There's lots on the market. You've got one for digging and prying, and you've got a general clean. I really like this one. One thing about this bike is this rear tubular frame is really makes things not quite so easy. And now it connects to my luggage rack there, so you know, double challenge there. But basically, you just get in there, and you know. By the way, this is best done on a center stand. Looks pretty good. Next, what I like to do is just take a paper towel, clean off the excess gunkage. This just gets, right now I just want to get this lithium grease off of here because not a fan. Okay, so we're gonna let that sit for just a moment, and while we do that, we'll go ahead and get our chain set, and then we'll oil it. The book says this rear nut is torqued to 85, so if we remember our good torque wrench etiquette, we always zero out our torque wrench before we're putting it away. And just give yourself, this one doesn't become hand tight and loose, but you know, good enough. Now, another tip, courtesy of our good friend Alex, was don't use your torque wrench to break it loose. I just don't have much option right now, so this is the only half-inch adapter I have, so I'm risking it. So, tip of the day. Next, come over. This required a 13mm spanner, so I went ahead and had to go and buy one. But we simply loosen our locking nuts, just like on the old one. You know, this one's not the greatest to read that I've ever seen, but that's sort of the way she goes at this point. So. This bike doesn't need a whole lot of slack. You want about an inch. I've noticed that this is the second time I've had to tighten this one, but that may be because it's a new bike. I'll put that there so we can see. Now, before I do this, let's double check the manual. See, look, even tabbed. "81 foot-pounds. Oh, gosh. Well, I'm still using it. Okay. So, we got our desired. Now we just need to readjust our torque wrench. And we said 81 foot-pounds. Okay. We got our chain where we want it. Looks good. Chain is clean. Let's oil. So you just right over the top of that. And it's gonna drip down, that's fine. We're all oiled. That's fun. We got our wheel nice and oiled. Give it a couple spins. And we want to let this sit. We don't want to drive it and sling it all over the place. So you want to let it give it time to seep into the sealed or around the sealed parts of the chain. And that's it. Lastly, you know, we're going to put back on our guard. I'm not going to show that. That's basic. But it sits right on top. And then we just like that, and hey, then we're done. Chain maintenance.